Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was earlier. And woo, it got like 100 today in the area where I am. So I don't know where you are. I just hope that you really make sure you get enough water, and just think of the kind of food that you're eating through the day. And might be a good time to make sure you get vitamins, to make sure you're getting enough food, and also is to make sure that you are loving yourself and forgiving yourself. Sometimes we struggle with that, is thinking about things that we should have done or could have done, or wish we would have done, and so we got to kind of let that go. And because we can't really go back and fix any of that now, because now it's a new day. So just think of, like, even sometimes it's little things that we got done, and those do add up. So besides, making sure you get out in nature, is to, relax, get in the shade. Sometimes we do. You got to make sure, depending on where you are and what kind of weather, is listen to your body when it says it's too hot, and make sure you kind of that's kind of why I'm in here in the library. It's got AC in here, is to cool off. So anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can also give this video a thumbs up. That is, if you want to see that change, and not just see it, but be it. Be that change that you want to see in the world. And you can leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Plus, don't forget, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't have my little dinger bell. I kind of forgot that, but don't forget the notification bell, ding, ding, ding. And you could share my videos. Plus, check out the playlist. And you can also find me on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, a lot is going on, and a lot of people are going through a lot of things in the world, and I'm not sure what you're going through right now, but are you kind of worn down and worn out? I don't know how old you are, and I don't know what kind of struggles and battles that you're going through on a daily basis. I do meet people, and some people are really struggling, where they're really having a hard time with being here on planet Earth, and that this video might speak to you. So I really hope I can help you out with this topic. So I recently met a lady out in public, and beautiful lady, and I knew instantly that she was going through some stuff, and she didn't even have to say a word, and it wasn't long, because I was freshening up for the day at this one place that I do that at, and instantly I could tell, and I could feel it, I can feel her energy without her even saying anything. So I spoke with her for more than an hour, almost a couple hours of talking with her, and trying to be somebody that was not going to judge her, somebody that was using their ears to listen to what she had to say, and try to help her out with anything that she was struggling with. And I'll tell you what, that lady had a lot on her plate. So she was going through a lot, and a lot of times when we're going through a lot of shit, and at this time right now, a lot of people go through a lot of shit because their kids got out of school. They're no longer in school, and some families don't know how to deal with all this, the pressure, when they're so used to their kids going in school, maybe at the sitters after, maybe, and, so now you got to rearrange everything when the kids get out of school, make sure they're being taken care of, make sure they're safe, and then, some of the kids might have summer school, sports, this, that, so it is a lot. And then, then you got yard work, you got, some of you might be going through, wanting to move where you're living. Some of you might be working on your house, and then you got, where you, depending on where you work, where the boss might want you to work those extra hours because now, they need you more than ever. And now you're like, what? How can I get through this? Where you might be kind of tired and might really want to give up in life, where you're just overloaded by so much going on. And I have to say, I know what that feels like, and I was where you are, not exactly, I wasn't going through the same problems, maybe similar stuff, where, there was years ago, long time ago in 2016, 17, where I wanted, and I went through this so many times in my life where I wanted to give up. I just had enough on my plate, a little bit too much, maybe I don't even know how many plates I had, but an overload, of too much going on. And so, because I was struggling, trying to get somewhere, and I felt like what is up? Every time I really think I'm getting somewhere, then something else comes in my life, and it overtakes me, where then I feel like it's taken me backwards, and then I had to, kind of climbing up a mountain, climb back up, get all the way to the top, and then something came along to knock me back down. And it just was like that my whole entire life, from even before I was born, and everything started before I was even born, where you think you're making changes. Like even when COVID came, that's when my wake up call, bam, I don't know what happened in your life when COVID came, where were you before COVID? And they do say, when you're doing really good, that's when the devil comes along. And that happened again before, I struggled my whole life, especially before, years ago. I'm right now it's 2024, and Starlight's been climbing and, doing the work right here. I love my life right now. I couldn't say that in 2016. I couldn't say that in 2000, from the time that I was born, all the way up till even 2016, 2017, 2018, and I think it might have been 2019 when COVID, I'm not sure. I was at my high peak at when COVID started, and even in 2000, the year 2000, I thought, hey, not that I received everything that I really desired, but I was at a high peak when I was in the church that I was at, thinking, wow, I'm doing really good. I was so happy at the time, even though I didn't find that love person out there, the man of my dreams. So, it's just that it is so important that you understand that, life wasn't meant to be easy, those lessons in life, those, and that's what it is to learn. And there's a lot of times that we might make the wrong choices, or, have the wrong kind of people in our life that could be, tugging, like a tug of war, where you're trying to, get somewhere. And that's why it's so important, to who do you have in your life? And I've said this many times in my videos, who do you have in your life? Is there somebody that is negative, that's, maybe they're taking advantage of you, using you, your time, distracting you, where you're trying to work on things, but then it's like they're pulling you back. And the other thing, it's so important that, I've had to let go of a lot of people. That's why I'm no longer in New York, so I had to let go of everyone really to be where I am now. And, and I'm happy where I am now. And, I'm happy with who I am right now. And I wasn't like that before. And I have to say, I thank God thank the universe, the source, whatever name you have. But I thank the universe, God, for putting my mentor in my, I found my mentor like in 2017. And really, I did get, even though I am not under that man anymore, is that really he helped me to get to where I am today. So you always want to be grateful for the ones that do, give you a hand and help you out. And so I am where I am today because not only did I watch his videos, as I was really working hard at the things that he was teaching, because I could have watched those videos, gave him thumbs up, gave him money. But if I'm not doing the work, then, what good was it to spend all those hours, like watching the videos if I'm not going to do anything about what I'm learning? And that is so important. So you might be really, really struggling. So anybody that's in the third dimension really is going to be going through some stuff, if you really are honest with yourself. And depending on how old and what your life has been like and the things that you've gone through, the lessons that you had to learn, or maybe you haven't learned them yet, maybe that's a big problem, is you're gonna have problems, especially if you are in the third dimension. And the third dimension is a low frequency, a low vibration. And the third dimension is all about fear. So if you're in the third dimension, which most people are, is that they're really not happy with who they are, and they need to get healed. And you might be like, yes, I do need to get healed, with the things that you've gone through in your life. Maybe when you were a child, a lot of people do. I mean, like most people have gone through some horrible thing when they were a kid. So we all had different things throughout our life. Maybe you lost loved ones. That is another thing. Maybe there's things that you're feeling guilty about that you did long time ago with, your children or your family or loved ones or animals, and you're carrying that guilt. So, if you've never gotten right with those things, yeah, you're gonna definitely feel it. If you never, asked to, be forgiven for those things, if you've never repented any of those things. And sometimes we could go through a lot of things and then go to therapy and all that, and that might help us out. But the therapist or the counselor is not the one to do the work. You're the one that's got to really, they can be an ear. They might be able to put some input, to help you out. But really, a lot of times they're not going to really tell you what you need, so that is something you have to figure out. And, what I've learned with my mentor is that I had to let go of, let love guide you, not fear. And I had to let go of people that were not loving and supporting me, and let go of toxic, people that are full of, drama and gossiping and stuff like that, and backstabbing, and, people that were using me or, taking advantage of me. Plus, I had to let love guide me and not fear. And I had to let go of fear. My apartment was loaded with sticky notes all over of either affirmations, staying in the now, so eventually, and I did a lot of guided meditations to get healed. That is one of the ways that I did get healed, is letting that out of my body, out of my aura, out of my spirit, out of my, there's different layers of you. And so Starlight has been doing a lot of housework, a lot of cleaning up to do. And if you are so busy and occupied with all the problems that you have, but you never take out time for yourself, yeah, that stuff is going to load up. It's going to pile up, just like somebody that, they have dishes at the sink and they don't do it. And then, they put that off for that day, because I do know people, or did know people, that has done that, has been guilty of letting the dirty dishes, they weren't rinsing them off, and it got piled up, and before you know it, they got this big mountain of dirty dishes, or even like laundry work, laundry clothes, where if you don't do it, like Starlight before, would, I would actually wear a lot of the same clothes over and over again because, they did not get clean. There's times I only wore like a shirt 3 hours, after I was done with my cleaning job, so I'm like, it didn't really get dirty, and then I didn't have stains on it. I really could take good care of my clothes. So I would wait, maybe I only had to do my clothes 3 weeks, like, because it took a long time for it to pile up. So, and it wasn't a big load. I wanted to make sure I had enough for a good load of laundry. So I only had to use I actually only used one small washer unless I had to do my blankets and sheets and extra stuff along the way. So you don't want things to pile up, as far as even, your house and dishes and laundry. And that goes the same as far as your emotions and dealing with stuff. And if you're so busy running around, like, what is your days like, especially if you have kids? You wake up, you got the alarm set early so you can get the kids out of bed. So then, then you got to make sure that they're taken care of. They got their lunch, they got this, they're dressed, did they, like have all their stuff, and then, you might have to go to work, then you're going to work, and then you're thinking about your kids, and then your kids get out of school, and then you get out of work, and then you got to go either pick up your kids or, then you got to, a lot of times parents will actually have their kids to go, like at a sports event somewhere, go back to the school, go there, spend some time with the kids there. Then you got a family, then you got a husband, then you got a wife, then you got other kids. Now you got to drop the other kid off somewhere else, and then you got to go back home, like get dinner ready. What are you having for dinner? And also, like now you got to get dinner ready for the kids, for the husband, wife, or whoever, the dogs. Now you got cats and dogs. Oh no, how many pets do you have? How many kids do you have? So all these things, it is a lot, to be able to do that, to juggle, and there might even be other stuff going on through the week, other things that your kids might go to, and, you might have to drop them off for tutoring or extra help, and depending, maybe the babysitter, and then, you want to have some time with your loved one, your husband, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. Then you got your family, your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters. Then you're trying to balance, yourself out with them. And then there could be other things. Oh, you got the doctor's appointment, you got that appointment, you got to pay the bills. Are you on time? Are you, behind on your bills? Are you like running out of money? Do you got credit cards and debit cards and all these things, credit cards that need to be paid? Where there's a lot. Then you got the yard, you're like, oh, I gotta, and then things in the house, things start falling apart in the house, so a lot definitely can happen. And don't forget about the car problems, making sure you get enough gas. Oh no, I got a flat tire, and now I got to go and make an appointment for that, get that all set up. And you're like, I've had enough. I just really can't deal with this anymore. I'm just tired. And and you've gone through a lot, you're carrying a lot from, it's like, I don't have it with me right now, is that if I had a backpack with me loaded up, and you're carrying that every day with you. So just like, sometimes what we got to do is take that backpack off. I mean, it's loaded. How many pounds are you carrying around every day? Some of you might actually go to church, that maybe think that, hey, maybe if I go to church on Sundays, but then of course that means that you got to get, the kids ready, get them dressed up, and, to bring them to church, and then, like to be there, like to hear the church service. then to go home and then start all over again. And you only get like what, if you go to church, then it's like, okay, that's half the day gone already. And then you got family and holidays, and then you got to go to picnics, and somebody's getting married, and then you got to run over there, and somebody's birthday over here. And it's like, wow. And then you got to go on vacation. Do you even have enough money to go on vacation? You're trying to save up for this or that. So a lot, goes on. And then you got the pets, oh no, what's wrong with the cat or dog? Now you got to take the cat, and the cat and dog, they got to get their shots. Oh no, the dog got pregnant, oh no, now you got a bunch of babies and little dogs and puppies and kittens or whatever, so a lot happens, with, and then you got to help your kids out, when they get out of school with the homework, and make sure that everything, is, and then you got to meet at the school with the teachers and all these things, so there's a lot that goes on. And, are you even taking time out for yourself? And, there's different dimensions. We are spirit, multi-dimensional spirit beings having a human experience. And if you're not aware of that, we're here to learn. We're in a university here, planet Earth. So we're here to learn how to be human. And because we're multi-dimensional spirit beings having a human experience, that means there's different dimensions. And just like your cell phones, but the only thing is that you can't get to another dimension with holding on to fear of being afraid every day. How are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to take care of this? How are you going to do that? And then you got relatives on the holidays that you don't want to face, and that you put up with it because you think that's the right thing to do. And then that added stress to your life where you need time for yourself, you need a break, but you need to really take care of you. Are you taking care of yourself? When's the last time that you went out for a hike? When's the last time that you got alone with yourself, without the kids, without the husband, without the wife, without mom, without dad, without brothers, sisters, cousins, grandma, grandpa, neighbors, When did you ever get alone with yourself to just breathe? And it takes a lot of work. So really, you really got to let go of people that are not really, people that are tripping you up, and you're like, I need these people in my life. You really do? I thought I needed, I thought I needed some people in my life. Some people are no longer here anymore, but I realized that, they were tripping me up. They were lying to me. They were deceiving me. They did a lot of horrible stuff to me. And I kept on thinking that I needed that person in my life, where at one time I actually, I wanted to help them out, and I did. I was helping them out, and I was taking from my own income, where they didn't work, and they only had really government money unless they did side jobs, and went out and did something here and there. But, I was taking, money, and I gave it to them. I didn't say, here you go, you can borrow it. I knew I just learned when I went to church, is like, if anybody needed anything, you just give it to them and count it to be lost, gone, like you're never going to see it again. So like every month, I was like, wow, and I didn't want to help this person in some areas because I knew if I gave them cash, it was either going to go on marijuana or cigarette money. Mainly it would have been going on cigarette money. And so, but I was always helping this person out, There's times that I would buy something from this person, and they might have bought it for $10 or even got it out of a garbage can. And so I'm like, ooh, and I would go to that person's house, and I'm like, wow, I love what you have there. And so they're like, hey, they might have bought it for $10, and they're like, this is the kind of person they were, is that, hey, I'll sell it to you for $50. And I was like, and they told me they bought it for $10. I bought it for $50 just because I knew they needed the money, and the item was worth $50, but the whole point was, you bought it for 10, I'm your relative or whatever, and you're going to sell it to me for 50. That's like going into a convenience store, It's really bad, where it's like, okay, they, like a cup of coffee, how much do you think a cup of coffee really should be worth? And how much are you paying? I go to like a general, and I actually see prices outside the like convenience stores or gas stations, at least out in these areas. You could get like 20 bottles of water at Walmart for three something, but at a convenience store or a gas station, it's almost $8 to get 20 bottles of water. I don't even understand how they even have that legal. You're really going to charge that much, and you figure a pot of coffee, how much is that pot of coffee worth? Really, and you're selling how much for a cup of coffee? So, you got to really think of the, like with people in your life, that they're going to be dragging you down, with them. And, are you really helping them out? It's like I thought I was helping this person out, and I did this for years. My family's seen it, they heard it, I'm like, I was so, stressed out over that person in my life. But it wasn't just them, it was other people, and if you're afraid to let these people go thinking that you need them, well, that's why you're in the third dimension still, because you are afraid. You can't, it's like, like kind of like if the fifth dimension was heaven, well, you're not going to get to heaven by being afraid of everything and afraid to say no to people and afraid to let them go, when we're afraid that God's not going to take care of our needs, and we're afraid of how is the rent going to get paid, where am I going to get the next food from, where am I, like how am I going to, and yes, this is the thing, is that they put fear through the news and the radio, with the prices going up, and then they like to repeat it, and then you're driving around, and then you go to the store, somebody I went to, and then what kind of stores are you going to, I went with somebody not too long ago, and it's an expensive store. I was like, oh my, where I remember, like certain things being a certain price, and I'm like, wow, really, like a pepper, almost $2 for one green pepper, like, wow, and that says in the Bible, in the Revelations, where, even a loaf of bread, you go to a convenience store, what is the price of a loaf of bread? I've gone in there and did that before. I was like, you got to be kidding me, like $4 for that loaf of bread? And it wasn't even like one of those fancy, expensive, healthy kind of loaf. It just was a plain, it could have been like white bread or just not the greatest of wheat bread. And I'm like, really? Wow, that's a lot of money for a loaf of bread. I think I'll pass and I'll wait until I go to Walmart somewhere, and get that bread. So, you got to really think of ways of, where is the money going? What are some ways that you can cut back? But really, if you're afraid, and that fear, God knows that you're afraid and all that stuff. So we got to let those things go. That is really, those two are really important, of letting people go. There's those people, and if you don't let them go, guess what? It's your fault later on when, shit keeps on happening, and then they're like always going to you, because you taught them that, hey, you can count on me, I'll be there for you. But what kind of lessons are you teaching them? You're teaching them that, hey, if you can't afford, I have helped people where I seen them where they were wasting their money. I'm like, oh my, they spent how much money on marijuana a month? And I knew that they were spending the money. How did I know? Because I was there throughout the month smoking with them, and I'm like, if they only get this much money a month, barely enough money, but they were taking the money that they should have been putting on food, and they ended up putting it on cigarettes, or things waste, they were wasting the money that they had. and they were putting it on things they really didn't need. And at the end of the month, all their money was gone. Well, how many bags, how much money did all that cigarette cost through the month? How much money did all those bags of dope, cost for the month? And then, at the end of the month, they don't have dog food, where they were actually taking their house food, like their house meat, and giving it to their dog. And then, eventually after a while, then, like after that is gone and they didn't have anything else to feed their animals, then, I would go and visit them and they're like, oh yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get dog food from, always putting a guilt trip on me. And then I'm like, I'm not, and it's, and then I realized I was not helping them out. Are you really helping them out? Are you? You're like, yeah, I am helping them out. I'm helping them out so then their dogs don't die. I don't want their dogs dying because the dog doesn't have any food, and, it's like, okay, how much is a bag of food, for dogs? So, and that's the thing, is that you really got to be wise. And are you really helping these people, or, what are you teaching them? You're teaching them that, hey, waste your money through the month. I will be there to help you out at the end. I was either giving that person free money without expecting anything back, or either I was giving them money when they needed it, and there's times that, I knew where it was going, either on dope or on cigarettes. They didn't drink alcohol really, or, so it is something how I wasn't really helping them out, because all I was teaching them is, hey, you can count on me next month, come to me and I'll give you more. So I got smarter and smarter and smarter along the way. And after a while, I decided, when it comes to like near the end of the month, I wanted to go to their house, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, what day is it? I'm like, yeah, actually, it's actually the end of the month. And I'm like, I'm not going to their house at the end of the month, because I'm going to end up hearing the story of, oh, I'm running out of food. I don't know how I'm going to make it through the end of the month. So I had to smarten up after a while. Eventually, then, it's kind of funny. I avoided them at the end of the month, like a week or so before the end of the month. I'm like, I'm not going to their house near the end of the month, or it might even been more than like a week before the end of the month, to, depending on when they got their food stamps and their money and all that, so yeah, I was not helping them like I thought I was helping them. So we really got to let go, of helping them, and teach them a lesson. What do just like a child, you can't keep on like giving your child everything they want every time they ask, because what are you teaching them? Hey, I can get whatever I want. And how is it going to really help them out later on in life? If you just cave in and give them everything they want, you got to teach them the right thing, and like, love them and support them, but then they got to learn those lessons in life. So anyway, to get to the fifth dimension, you got to let go of those people, that are tripping you up and pulling you down, pulling you backwards. And you got to, let love guide you, not fear, and stay in the present. And you got to, let go of fear. If you are afraid and you're not trusting in God, you're not trusting that things are going to be taken care of. I've had people say this before, around the time they're like, well, this isn't going to pay for well, that's your belief. Your belief and your thoughts are very powerful. And so if you're thinking, I'm going to get evicted, all your thoughts are very powerful. So you got to really think of the kind of things that you're thinking and the things that you're saying. I'm running out of money. I'm poor. If you're saying all these things, then you're adding the energy to yourself, and you're going to end up being stuck. Like I'm stuck right now. Well, then you're going to be stuck because you're bringing that into your reality. Or, like Starlight doesn't go around and says, say that I'm homeless. I'm just saying I'm in the situation that I'm in, so if I say I'm homeless, well, yeah, that's going to end up giving me problems, not really helping me out in the problem, So you really got to be wise on the words that you say and how you say it. and what are you thinking? You got to reprogram yourself. So anyway, I do love you, but are you helping the people in your life? What are you teaching them? You're teaching them, hey, at the end of the month, I will be there to help you out. And then don't go around complaining about it. Really, if you're the one, and that's what Starlight did a long time ago, I was like, man, it was my own fault. I would go and complain to other people and my family members and people that I knew and say, yeah, this person, I didn't realize all the naughty things I was doing at the time. I was gossiping, I was in the drama, and I was complaining, about things that I was letting people, that they weren't, it was a lesson lots of lessons that I had to learn. So I hope you're learning your lessons. I hope this video really helps you. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget, you can leave a message down below. Don't forget the notification bell, ding, ding, ding. Plus, share, share, share. You can also check out my playlist. And you can also, besides checking out my playlist, you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I love you. My battery on my phone is ready to die, so I got to get out of here. I love you so much. This is Starlight. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.